my showco. What's
Or
going
co-host,
on? Or
whatever you want to call
He
it.
hates the word showco.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Stop it. It's having fun. It's having fun, man.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. Let me tell you,
and then
showco, showho.
And then when Lori's here, when Charlene's here, then we call her we say we
Don't
make a mistake.
even. Don't even.
Well, welcome back. We're here with our next guest, who is Ryck Suydam.
Yep.
He is the president of the Farm Bureau, New Jersey Farm Bureau. Ryck, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Keith. Thanks for having me.
Well,
And Mark.
And Mark. No, don't worry about it.
Hey.
So, Ryck, welcome to the show. Let's talk about what is the Farm Bureau.
Well, the Farm Bureau is a grassroots organization, real grassroots.
Okay.
We're roughly about 11,000 farmers and farm families, and we work to advocate for agriculture on all kinds of levels, all types of agriculture, big and small. It could be from Sussex County down to Cape May, and everything from growing oysters to blueberries, dairy, peaches, and even backyard farmers, people who want to be farmers, can be part of the Farm Bureau. And our job is to work both in Trenton and in Washington. Part of my job, even on the president of the New Jersey Farm Bureau, I sit on the board of directors at American Farm Bureau, and so we do work in Washington as well.
Very cool.
And we want to be a little bit specific here, is that the New Jersey Farm Bureau is not a government
We are not the
agency.
government. Yeah. When I became president, I've been part of Farm Bureau a long time. But when I was asked to be president, I said, hey, guys, maybe we got to let people know that we're not the government. Changing the name was out of the picture. We couldn't do that.
Right.
So we make a point of letting people know on venues like this that New Jersey Farm Bureau, even though it sounds like the government, we're not. We are the voice of agriculture. We interact with government, but we are not the government. We're the old adage, we're from the government, we're here to help you. Well, that's not us. We actually we're a trade association that work on behalf of agriculture at the federal, state, county, and even in the municipal level.
Okay.
So you've seen a lot of evolution in farming just over the last probably 10, 15 years or so. And one of the things that we talked about a little bit before the show is that farming is cool. Farming is hot. It's sexy again. How did that evolution come about?
Well, it's the locavore movement. Meaning local. People want to buy local, eat Jersey Fresh. Jersey Fresh, by the way, is from the Department of Agriculture. It's not from Farm Bureau. We kind of work together. They are the government, New Jersey Department of Agriculture. But that Jersey Fresh, which came in, I think, through the Whitman administration. I may be off.
Yeah.
But it's most recognized agricultural marketing program in the country and maybe the world, because it's picked up in Canada and even in Europe, some things coming from New Jersey being shipped. But all over the United States, and I talk to farmers from every place from Puerto Rico, California, and Alaska. They know Jersey Fresh. So back to your question, it's that local movement. People want to buy local, eat local, the local farm stand, buying eggs from your local farmer. It's that local fresh movement has really helped the small ag economy. Didn't hurt the big ag economy either. That really helps. Like our blueberry growers in Burlington, Ocean, Atlantic counties. That's big ag, just like cranberries. And the fact they come from New Jersey is a good thing.
Absolutely.
People are buying it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the farm stand, and a lot of us from the Philadelphia area, we spend a lot of time at the Jersey Shore. And if you go some different ways to the shore, if you don't like to take the AC Expressway or the Parkway, you discover all of these amazing farm stands that have the most wonderful produce that that weren't there 20 years ago. And you talked a little bit about that. So there was an evolution in farming where that went away, and the supermarket pretty much took out the little guy. They were now getting from one supplier versus many suppliers that were providing the best and specific produce. And we're seeing that come back now. And part of that dynamic is the farm to table. It's this restaurant movement now that the restaurants have, partnered with some of the farms, and they're offering different, unique, creative dishes that feature fresher food. How has that impacted you
Well,
guys?
people want to know where their food comes from. Actually, besides being the Farm Bureau president, I'm a farmer.
Right.
In Somerset County.
And real quick, to be a part of the Farm Bureau, you have to be a farmer, okay?
No, you don't.
Oh,
To be an officer.
an officer, right.
As an officer, you need to be
Right.
a farmer. To be a member of the Farm Bureau, you have to have an interest in agriculture, and we'll talk about that a little bit further
Sorry.
down. But the farm to table thing. My eggs go to a restaurant in New Brunswick, very high-end place called Stage Left,
Okay.
in the theater district in New Brunswick, and I'm on their menu. It's this Suydam Farm eggs, and that's not unusual in a lot of restaurants around the state where they're identifying, a local farm where it's coming from, and people love it. They'll pay more for it. The restaurateur wins, the farmer wins,
Right.
and the diner likes to know where their food came from, so they win. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win all the way around.
It's nice, and I know that there are actual restaurant concepts that are basing their entire menus off of that type of concept. There's a restaurant that opened in Cherry Hill on Route 70 that is all farm to table. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier, which I think is really interesting, that we're seeing coming back into New Jersey, and that is the oysters. The oysters were ravished back in the 30s, the 20s, the 30s, and 40s. The New Jersey oyster population was completely depleted by the way they were farmed. And now we're seeing oysters back and being farmed and harvested in New Jersey. Cape May specifically. I was down in Cape May a few weeks ago, and I was talking to someone from the Tourism Bureau there. They want Cape May oysters to come back in a huge way. And I said, well, who are your targets? She said, I want people to think Cape May oysters are as good as the Prince Edward Island oysters because they are. And they're coming back in a big way. How did you guys help that come back?
Well, I'm not going to take any credit for that. Farm Bureau doesn't do the research for aquaculture. Besides oysters, by the way, we're growing a lot of clams in New Jersey. And it's kind of, I'm a dirt farmer from Somerset County.
Right.
I'm not raising any oysters.
Right.
It was really great for me to go and see some clam farming that's done in the Barnegat Bay. But I'm going to give credit where the credit is due. It's Rutgers University.
Really?
The experiment station, it's called the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station. It's a part of Rutgers University. They do that research with aquaculture to help them bring back the oysters and the clams, and they've done a tremendous job with that. Now, I'm going to say tremendous job because they're in a very tight budget. Like the rest of New Jersey, things have gotten shrunk in the budget. And they get their money primarily out of the state budget. It doesn't come from tuition. You think Rutgers, they're raising tuition. When it comes to the experiment station, the Ag Experiment Station, it's all done through state funding. A little bit comes from the feds,
Right.
but mostly, and they've stretched that dollar tremendously. The New Jersey Farm Bureau, which is me, Rutgers, the Experiment Station, and the Department of Ag are what we call the three-legged stool of supporting agriculture. So we work together
Right.
to promote and expand agriculture. Because, as you mentioned earlier, agriculture is business.
Yeah.
We're big business. There's big dollars, and we're the fourth largest industry in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah,
Wow.
and see, people kind of forget that, or they don't realize that, is that without farming and agriculture, our economy crumbles. It doesn't work. It doesn't function the same way without it.
We all like to eat, don't we?
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. And great vegetables, or anything. Jersey,
We're lucky in New Jersey that we're
Yeah.
able to produce, I think, superior corn and
Superior.
superior
Best.
tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the exporting that New Jersey does, and I hope that the answer is a pretty big one. What type of numbers do we pump out of this state to, we'll say, share with the rest of the country or the rest of the world our great produce?
I can talk in wholesale numbers. One of our biggest exporters are cranberries and blueberries. We
Right.
also ship a lot of peaches. We still grow a lot of peaches in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But in rough numbers, don't hold me to the retail numbers, but wholesale dollars is $1.2 billion at the farm gate of fruit. And that's wholesale. That's not retail, and it's
Right.
not finished on the plate
Right.
at the
Wow.
restaurant. So You start doing that, you got more dollars and more jobs involved, et cetera.
That's a huge number.
Wow,
That's a
that is
huge number.
huge.
Over $1 billion. That's incredible.
And people think about New Jersey, it's the Turnpike and Route 1 and Newark Airport.
Yeah, right?
And
We're better than that.
that's why I love Jersey.
They call us the Garden State for a reason,
That's
right?
right. We're going to have to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly. Mark Cook, and we are here with Ryck Suydam from the Farmer Bureau, New Jersey's Farmer Bureau. I keep forgetting that.
New Jersey Farm Bureau.
He's not just from the Farm Bureau.
I can't even talk.
He's the president of
He's
the
the
Farm
president.
Bureau.
Isn't there that commercial? He's not only. Oh, that's for like the balding thing.
No, we're
So,
not the hair club for men.
That's right. That's what it was. So, well, Ryck,
We're
welcome
talking about
back.
the business of agriculture.
The business of agriculture.
And New Jerseyans love it, and they're supporting us.
Yeah, and that, again, right before the break, we were talking about $1 billion, over $1 billion. That's huge, very huge. So, tell us a little bit. Can you, you said you were a farmer. You have to be a farmer. Tell us a little bit about what would you do.
Well, I have a farm in Somerset County. We have 300 acres. We raise a lot of hay for the horse industry. Horses are very important to a lot of ag in New Jersey. There's a lot of guys like me that raise hay and grain to feed horses, whether it be the racetrack or backyard horses. So issues surrounding racing in New Jersey, you might hear it in the news a lot, and it's at the legislature, are important because of the agricultural industries that are impacted. So racing isn't my only customer when it comes to the hay that we grow, but it's a big part of it. So we encourage the legislature to be favorable to racing.
Right.
It's not, for me, I don't gamble on horses, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But they eat.
Right,
And
absolutely.
there are horse farms that people love to see, and they're also a big part of the economy. People are hired to work there, whether they're at the track, they're at the farm, they're making hay, or they're shipping grain. So agriculture, I'm talking horses at the moment, but that's a big part of New Jersey's
Touches a lot of
agriculture.
things.
Well, what you're
Is
talking
that-
about is what people don't really realize all the time is that when you say like, okay, well, I think we should get rid of horse racing, all they think is, okay, well, we're going to get rid of the horses that run around the track, and that's not the case. There's so many more people and businesses that are impacted by a decision like that, like you specifically, the ones that are trying to feed these horses. So you take them out, and that significantly affects your bottom line.
And it affects on the grower. Then you got the vet, you got the blacksmith, the other ancillary businesses that are supported by horses. And horses aren't just racing. They're
Right.
pleasure horses. They're therapeutic riding.
Mhm.
There's all kinds of parts to it. But that's the biggest part of my farm is making hay. But we also do vegetables. We were talking vegetables earlier, and eggs. I also raise pigs.
You raise pigs too?
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, we sell our pork. We have it processed. That's a nice way to say it. And we get it vacuum packed, and we sell it to our customers along with our flowers, our tomatoes, and everything else. So I'm a diversified farm, and that's kind of how the Suydam farms has survived. And my story is not unique. That's how a lot of agriculture has remained in New Jersey, is by adapting to the times. We were a dairy farm once upon a time, and due to labor and other economic factors, we got out of it. And we started growing hay for other people's animals. We're doing very well with that, but I needed to continue to evolve to create an income to stay in business.
Again, it's a
and
business.
And
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
locavore movement that we started the show with.
It's neat because you talked about how your family's farm has evolved from a dairy farm to doing a lot of different things. It's almost an evolution, if you want to look at it that way, that a lot of the farms in New Jersey are, you mentioned that their stories are similar because the way the industry has changed and evolved, the farms themselves also had to change and evolve to maintain and survive and almost have to weather that storm that was there for a lot of years that we're finally starting to see now, like we had talked about a little bit earlier. Farming is sexy again. Farming is cool. And it's really the foundation of all of the foods that we should be eating. When you talk about people and health coaches that talk about healthy diets and all of the things that we should be putting into our body, we're like, what's the answer all the time? It's all stuff that comes from the earth, right?
Yeah. Closer is better. So that's where the local board movement continues to benefit everybody.
You know, we were talking earlier, we had a local nursery on, and Mark had, made a big emphasis on, the weather and how it's been changing and everything. And I'm sure you guys have been affected by that as well.
Weather changes. Always has.
It always has.
will.
Always will.
And we have to adapt.
Right.
One of the biggest parts of agriculture in New Jersey is greenhouse agriculture or horticulture. And we're growing tomatoes in New Jersey year-round. It's not cheap. Those are expensive tomatoes because of the heat factor. But that's where agriculture is going to continue to expand, which is controlled environment agriculture, greenhouses. But that's a good thing. Keeping food supplies closer to urban centers is part of the work that we do at Farm Bureau, is to keep farmers, I'll call them suburban, because growing in the inner cities, although it's great for an educational purposes, it's really not a great business model for large-scale production.
Right.
Vegetables primarily.
Right.
So, but keeping other food suppliers, farmers like me, I live right outside of New Brunswick, and we're supplying some of the restaurants around us. So that's some of the work that the Farm Bureau does.
Okay. So, but weather has impacted it.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, weather has impacted it, though.
Well, yes and no. We've always worked with and around the weather. Today it was raining as I was coming here to the studio, and for me that was a good thing because I've got the fertilizer on the fields, and the rain is going to do its work to help the plants grow.
And the temperatures are a little bit warmer, which helps kind of the whole thing, right?
Well, we're into springtime, and that happens. Things warm up, they cool down, they warm up.
Wait a second, right. Last week was freezing. It was back to like frost and like all this stuff. And
It's the beginning of spring, Mark. It's not the end of spring.
Give it some time.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you know what? I like the fact that you said weather is what it is, and it changes.
It always has.
They try, the weather people, I love Sue Serio, but she tries to ruin our days. But, okay, you say you're a hay, primarily, you have hay, you're a hay farmer. What do you have to do to prepare for your hay? Like, do you do anything that makes your hay taste different? Like, and without getting a secret away. But
There's no secrets.
No, I mean, like, because, we feed our guinea pigs hay. I mean, like, there's a lot of hay that goes out.
Yeah, there is. It's, forage for cows
Yeah.
and horses and sheep and goats and llamas and alpacas. I sell to all those, and bunnies. I sell to all those folks. No, there's no great secret to it. It's having good soils. You got to use the science and soil samples, even in your own backyard garden. I encourage people to get a soil sample. Every county in the state of New Jersey has an extension service of Rutgers, and they'll help you with a soil sample for your own garden. So in making quality hay, we start with good soil and good seed. Yeah, Mark.
I don't think that most people know that.
What?
That
soil samples?
yeah, I can get my soil tested like from my house.
Sure. What county do you live in?
Kim.
Really?
All right,
Oh,
Camden
okay.
County Extension Service of Rutgers. They're in the book. Google it.
Yeah.
And they'll help you with a soil sample kit. It's a couple of bucks. I can't remember now. It might be $12, $13.
But then they're going to be able to.
Don't call the Farm Bureau if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not worried about that part of it, but they're going to be able to tell me specifically what's going to grow best, what's going to be what's in my dirt basically.
They're going to tell you what your soil has too much of, too little of, or what's just right.
That's a really cool service.
Having the right pH, and
Yeah.
every 8th grade science student will be able to explain pH.
Right.
Having the right balance for the kind of crops you want to grow in your garden.
That's really cool though,
And you
because
can
I
do
didn't know that
it
was
at
available.
every county in the state.
That's
Wow.
neat. And let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, we're really New Jersey. We talked about it. It's the Garden State, and unfortunately, our reputation across the country isn't the reflection of what we actually are here. What is unique about the soil that makes those blueberries so awesome, or the corn so sweet, or those tomatoes so big and tasty? What's unique about the soil here?
Well, New Jersey is an interesting place because you go from High Point up in Sussex County,
Mountains.
yeah, down to the sandy soils in
Yeah.
Salem, or even here in southern Burlington and
Cape County.
further down.
Yeah.
What's unique is that there's a lot of differences.
Right.
So the soil is one thing, but what makes our sweet corn and our tomatoes so good is humidity. You know,
Really?
we hate
Really?
those. We hate those.
Oh, I
dog
always
days.
complain about the
Seriously,
humidity.
it's the humidity that makes it.
Humidity does it. Well, yes, you got to have good soils, but it's New Jersey weather. Those hot, sticky days, the end of July into August, where everybody's garden is just exploding with tomatoes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what makes the Jersey. I'm not a scientist, but in my ag education,
Right.
it's the humidity that does it. And yes,
Interesting.
I'll never complain about humidity.
Yeah.
if you like a BLT, you need to have hot, sticky days to make it.
It's
happen.
just so interesting because I've never heard that before, and I've asked people. I've said, "Why is New Jersey stuff so much better?" And it is. It is so much better. It's leaps and bounds better than a lot of the other tomatoes and corn and blueberries that are even grown locally in this area. So that's kind of amazing to me that it is the humidity, the summers.
Now, by the way, just like any doctor out there, they'll get three on this side will say it's
It's
one
something,
thing, one the other.
right,
In-
right.
In my humble opinion, it's humidity, but soil has a lot to do with
So
it.
it's all the stuff working together. Is
Yeah.
really it's a combination of things, and we talked about balance earlier in your life,
Right.
and it's like a balance in anything else. The plants and the agriculture needs to survive and thrive in the same way. It needs to have the proper food and nutrients. It needs to be cared for. It needs to be protected. Right? It's the same as anything else. It's a living thing.
Now, the New Jersey Farm Bureau, I mean, what do we need? What do people need to know on, like, I'm sure you guys always need help. You're always looking for things. What can we do to help? Because I'll tell you what, I don't want this to ever go away. And if it does, like Mark said, we're in trouble.
Well, the New Jersey Farm Bureau works to keep the government from interfering too much.
Oh, is that what you know?
No, there are certain things that you need regulation for, of course.
Right.
We don't want to speed on highways. You got to have
Right.
laws for that. New Jersey farmers are not polluters. We protect the environment. But we don't need so much regulation on environmental issues that it puts handcuffs on doing our business. Because as we started earlier, this is a business. We need to make money to do it.
Right.
Right.
It's a lot of hard, dirty work, and if we're not making money at it, it's going to be tough to keep the industry going. So the Farm Bureau would like to work with the voters to keep informed about agricultural issues. Number one, we'd love you to be a member. You can go to njfb.org and learn more about it. It's a pretty simple website, njfb.org. But when you have a question or a comment, question primarily, you can reach out. We call it the farmhouse. Our main office is in Trenton, right across the street from the State House. And so you have a question about agriculture, call the farmhouse, the New Jersey Farm Bureau, and we can help you with that so that we have good neighbors. Farmers want to be good neighbors because we live in the same neighborhoods that you do, in the same place. So farmers are going to work with you, and Farm Bureau's there to try to help facilitate that.
I was just going to say, you guys are pretty much the facilitators between the government and the environmentalists and all of the different groups that are kind of like in your business almost. We're talking about a situation where it was put up to vote, a certain issue was put up to vote. It passed. The people in New Jersey voted for it in an overwhelming majority.
You're talking about the Open Space of Act. Now it was for 2014.
Right.
I agree with Chris Christie on a lot of stuff, not everything. But he said put it to one of his favorite phrases is let the voters decide.
Right.
Put it on the ballot. Well, we did.
They did.
They put it on the ballot. The open space bill passed. Over 65% of New Jerseyans voted in favor of it.
It's huge.
So that's a big deal. And open space is parks. It's also farmland preservation and historic preservation. But
Yeah.
the piece that affects, well, me and a lot of farmers and people like farmers, it's that farmland preservation piece.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best business deal in the state, if not the nation, because New Jersey farmland is some of the most expensive anywhere. So if you preserve that using some state dollars, county and municipal dollars, they kind of match,
Right.
to preserve a farm in perpetuity, you have that food source locally that we need. Now, this is one of my I love this one, so thank you for bringing it up.
No problem.
You preserve the farm, but it's still owned by the farmer. So he or she, that family, has to maintain the land. They still pay taxes,
Right.
and they have to keep it in agriculture. So what the state has done through farmland preservation is it buys up the development rights.
Right.
You can build a hen house, but you can't build a house for people. It keeps the population kind of in check.
Right.
And so you can do agricultural construction, but you just can't build houses for people. But it's the best business deal because once it's preserved, the taxpayers eventually save money,
Well,
and it stays in farming.
but what you're talking about, though, is you're talking about a scenario that this passed by the voters of New Jersey, and then when it finally hit the governor's desk, it got
Sliced and diced.
chopped up, and things were taken out that you guys fought really hard to make sure that they were in there in the first place.
That the funding levels, traditionally it was like a 60-40. Open space got 60, farmland preservation got 40% of the pot.
Mhm.
That has changed. Now, see, when voters passed this, they thought it would be traditionally about the same. Well, it's not. It's dramatically different.
Open space has gotten a bigger piece of the pie?
Well, the hardest part is a big chunk went off the top back to the DEP for salaries. That was not the intent of the bill,
Right.
but that's the reality. That's going to happen. And what's left is being agriculture, the farmland preservation piece of the pie got reduced. Now, legislation has just come through Trenton, got passed both by the Assembly and the Senate to kind of put it back where it was, even though that chunk went off the top, but the governor needs to sign it. And I would ask your viewers to let the governor's office know that
Yeah.
farmland preservation is important.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It helps all of us.
Well, what's crazy about it is that we already told them that. We voted on it. And a 65% majority on an issue like that, on a public issue, is huge. We're talking about issues like that normally pass on a 51 or 52% majority. This is a 65% majority. And for him to turn around now and change what was already voted on and approved for by the voters of New Jersey, I think is
That's why I
questionable.
say I agree with the governor on a lot of things. He and I just having a little problem with this one. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that with encouragement from the Farm Bureau, from your viewers, the governor will agree with us and continue to fund farmland preservation where it should be.
Good.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Coffee. I'm here with Mark Cook, and we're here with our guest, Ryck Suydam from the New Jersey Farmers Bureau. Did I do that right this time?
New Jersey Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau.
You were close.
You know what? You guys know I brutalize names. I'm sorry. So, right, we have some pictures that we bought on that you provided for us. Let's go through a couple of them. This first one here,
That first one, I believe, was just very recently, the celebration of the 100 years of the New Jersey Department of Agriculture. That's part of that three-legged stool we spoke of earlier. That is the government side that does work in supporting agriculture, both in marketing and in funding all year long. So they just celebrated 100 years of existence, and I was there to celebrate with them.
And you know what? Real quick, just to clarify, the New Jersey Department of Agriculture is a government agency. The New Jersey Farm Bureau is not.
No, we're a grassroots trade organization, member-driven.
I just want to make sure that people can differentiate.
Thank you. We do get
no problem.
confused. Yep.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem. Sure.
All right, so now the second picture we have
That-
up there.
That would be our billboard. We did 2 billboards last year. This is a big part of Farm Bureau's communication. We kind of went old school. We went to billboards. We did one on 206 right across from the Burlington County Fairgrounds. No farmers, no food is a very
Powerful message. Yeah.
and it's a bumper sticker. We
Yeah.
we have them all over the state. And we also
And
did
it's-
a billboard on the Turnpike,
Okay.
and that got a lot of attention. 43,000 cars a day. We had it up for 5 weeks, and it got a lot of attention.
Well, that was a big investment for you guys too, I'm sure.
It was a big investment, but luckily we're a not-for-profit, and they gave us a break.
Nice.
Okay, cool. And then the number 3 was that's the other billboard that we have up there. And then the fourth one.
Fourth one, I think you're taking a look at it. Very common in New Jersey, are cranberry
Cranberry
bogs
bogs.
and the harvest. And we are still very famous for cranberries all over the country and in Canada. We're shipping cranberries all the time. Ocean Spray was a big part of New Jersey ag. It's a co-op, really. They're buying from New Jersey growers. So it's New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. That's where they get the Ocean Spray name, is from being coastal states.
And they're interesting because their commercials are really entertaining. The commercials with the gentleman in the bog,
Yeah.
where I think the one he dumps the sugar all over the place, and the other one. What?
Yeah.
Oh, we got an opinion on those. What do you
They're,
think?
I guess they're memorable. It doesn't always paint farmers in as being the smartest guys in the room, but they're selling their product. They want to make it funny. Go ahead.
I think that people can differentiate and understand
Yeah.
that that's not how real farmers are. Right? Come on, man. Really?
You never know.
We got to
I
give
hope-
the people some credit.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
So now, like, do you guys do any events or anything?
Well, the New Jersey Farm Bureau has an annual convention. We've done it in Princeton the last number of years, but we do outreach through the counties.
Okay.
Every county in the state, well, exception of Essex and Hudson, has its own county board of agriculture, and that's where I encourage your viewers to interact with their local farmers. Anybody can go to a county board meeting, kind of get to know your local farmer, if it's not at the farm stand, and we work at the grassroots level, and we coordinate with the counties. So you ask about events, the 4-H fairs all over this state are a huge success, and it's great to see youth in agriculture, which, you talk about farming being sexy again. There are more youth coming into agriculture all the time, and we need that because
Yeah.
farmers are getting old.
That's the future.
You got to have them, and young people are recognizing there is a future in agriculture. But the 4-H fairs, farmers fairs all over this state, that's where Farm Bureau interacts a lot with our members and the general public.
Okay.
So the first step is for everybody out there that is interested in this is to go to the county level, reach out to your county office, and you can do that by a quick Google search or by using the Farm Bureau's website, and just get involved.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, there's no heavy lifting here.
Right.
But I encourage parents and grandparents. Kids love this stuff. They eat it
love
up.
it. They
Excuse the
love
pun. But there's so much involved, whether it's math or science,
It's
biology. You link it to food,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids will absorb it quicker, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's education is what it is, and it's important education. I mean, look, you learn about a lot of stuff about agriculture in school, but it's textbook type stuff that doesn't impact you on a day to day. If you guys can take your kids out there and have them meet farmers, be on the farm, they're going to learn more, and it's going to be more impactful to them in the rest of their lives than anything they're ever going to read in a book.
There's a program through the New Jersey Agricultural Society, which is a different entity, called Learning Through Gardening.
Boom.
And they work with local school districts to do just that. The other part of the Ag Society, which is there's 3 parts. The big success is Farmers Against Hunger. I hope your viewers have heard about that. That's where farmers donate crops in the field. Farmers Against Hunger gets together with volunteers to go pick or glean what's left in the field, and it goes to food pantries all over the state.
What a great program that is. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I want you to look right over here into camera 3 and tell people how to get involved, websites, phone numbers, any information, anything that you want to tell the world right now. Ryck, go for it right there.
Or Governor Christie.
Or Governor. Governor and I will
No,
talk.
he does that behind closed doors.
Okay.
He and I will talk later. I encourage folks to get in front of their computer or their iPad and take a look at njfb.org. It's pretty simple. It's not a sophisticated website. It's easy to navigate. Learn a little bit more about what the Farm Bureau does in your county, and get involved with the County Board of Agriculture. Learn a little bit about where your food is coming from locally, whether it's from Burlington County or from Middlesex County, Monmouth, wherever it might be. You can learn through your County Board of Agriculture more about what's happening right around you and how you can help support agriculture in New Jersey, because we all eat, and eating local and eating healthy it's good for everybody. So
Absolutely.
I'm not going to give you a phone number. I'm going to encourage you. You can always get the phone number off that website.
The website.
Okay,
Perfect.
awesome. Well, Ryck, I want to thank you so much for coming on to Morning Coffee. For me and Mark, we are out for the day, and we will check you out tomorrow with some more guests right here on Morning Coffee.